Welcome to this webinar today from Relocate Global and Think Global People. This is part of our International Education and Schools series. The title of the webinar is Borderless Online International Education, Anywhere, Anytime, Any Child from 21K School. And with me today are co-founders Santosh Kumar and Yeshwant George Asmal. Hello and welcome to you both. So we're going to talk about your school, a leading online school offering Indian, American and British curriculum with students and teachers from around the world. You've grown tremendously. I know you have over 6,000 students today from 54 countries and 24 nationalities, which is a wonderful achievement. So we're going to cover the growing appeal of virtual schools for international families and those making domestic moves, and planning relocation moves for families on international assignments or students just wanting to change school. So we're going to explore what are the main benefits for students and why they choose your school in particular. So first of all, can you give us a bit of background about 21K and this tremendous growth you've achieved in the past 3 years, and obviously give us some case studies of families and why they've opted for your online school. So who would like to start?
So I'll start, Yashwant will add on further to this. So the idea of, fully online school started back in 2019, and we wanted to, open a physical school in a tier 3 city in India. What we realized is, the lower, like tier 3, tier 4 kind of cities, there are schools, but, there are no good quality schools. In terms of good quality, I mean good teachers. So that's why we saw there is a huge problem in India in terms of affordable quality teachers to be available across the, across the states and across the regions. And I personally lived in Dubai for close to 8 years, and I have seen the cost of education in Dubai. And there are a lot of Indian families who are in Dubai who don't even bring their family to Dubai only because of cost of education. Now, in the verge of finding a solution to this, I met Yashwant, and we started discussing on this completely online school. So this online school primarily has 3 or 4 category of parents. To start with, one is category of parents who are like who wanted a transparent quality education for their kids. Any parents who is desiring transparent quality education, they go for an online schooling. Second is a lot of parents who are relocating, who are shifting their jobs, who are into tier 3, tier 4 cities, non-residential Indian, at the same time expats in countries like UAE, Singapore, and Cambodia, Malaysia, Taiwan, and complete Middle East, right? They were looking for such kind of options where school travels with their kids rather than kids traveling and changing their school constantly. And there are other set category of parents, like from there are a lot of parents who come to us because their kids are having some deeply into athletics. They want more time for the athletics and less time for academics, so they study 3 to 4 hours per day with us, and rest of the time they practice. And there are a couple of parents who are into medical condition type of thing. All these parents together itself is a huge market which we are catering to, and they didn't have a quality offering before. So with 21K school coming in, we are just changing that complete market altogether. I'll ask Yashwant to add more about the academic part of it, and then we can continue.
Great.
Yeah, thanks, Santosh. I think what with the 21K school, what we've been able to do is to use technology to improve the learning outcomes of students. Having spent over 20 years in the education space, largely building physical schools in and around India, I think one of the significant improvements as an online school I see is that there's a greater transparency in terms of the quality of teachers, learning outcomes of the students. There is a much deeper level of involvement of the parents in the education process, since it's study from home. It definitely offers much greater convenience both to the parents and the students alike. So there are valid reasons for people to choose at online schooling. It's very surprisingly, 21K school was the first online school in India, which has been such a popular concept world over. We've seen some significant, case studies at 21K school. There are a student who has a severe dust allergy and who's never been able to go to a school because of his medical condition, is now being able to study in a school and interact with students online because of the virtue of online classes. There are parents who are always on the move globally and within India, and they were not comfortable with the idea of leaving the children back home alone. So now we see them, attending classes from different cities in India and even outside India, because it's completely virtual. We've also seen a lot of students who are, getting trained professionally in sports like swimming or chess and other pursuits like in the case of music, art, and dance. For them, the selected vocation is already decided at a very young age, and they want to devote more time towards that goal which they have set for themselves. And online schooling with just 3 hours of classes in the primary level makes a perfect choice for them. So we are seeing a lot of students who are opting online school, and it's very surprising to see young students attending classes in a stress-free, joyful environment, writing books, developing apps, pursuing what they love, what is their passion. I think we're truly trying to unleash the potential of a child at a very young age.
I think it's also very interesting that you started the online schools out of India, because India is such an important economic region and growing strongly after the pandemic, as a regional and a headquarters region in the whole APAC region. And then, of course, out of the UK, there's trade relationships and people building back supply chains, etc. So it's a very exciting time to be engaging with business and trade in India. So you're absolutely on a rising crest of growth, I'm sure you'll find. And from the global mobility perspective, increasing numbers of global mobility professionals are wanting to know how to support both India moves internally, with people responding to the growth in the country, but also inbound and outbound. But like all countries, there's challenges regarding all sorts of external things like immigration and tax and things. So this also plays wonderfully into your hands, a virtual school, which can provide continuous education for international families. So I'm sure you'll be finding there will be a lot of positive response, and it's great to have this new edition. So tell us a bit more about the online learning experience. I mean, how do you make it stimulating, and what makes for really good academic outcomes? Because you're obviously doing really well, and just looking at your websites as well, it's a wonderful podcast from the students themselves. I mean, that's they're a shining example. So do tell us about that. Are you going to start, Yash?
So, as a school, we wanted to replicate the physical school experience as much as possible. I think that was one of the goals that we started with. So we use a very familiar terms in terms of the school assemblies, the classrooms, the subject teachers, homeroom teachers. And when we looked at the curriculum and also the mandate from the school boards, we realized that a lot of aspects, subjects or time that is spent in a physical school is actually not required and not called for when the national curriculum or the international curriculums were designed. So what we have done is that we've tried, because I think as a parent, I would not have ever thought about the opportunity cost of the time that my son would save studying online. And if my child gets 5 hours of extra free time per day, and I think it opens up a world of opportunities for him to pursue, to think, to read, to socialize, to engage with content, people, and technologies outside the school. So that's one significant change. Plus, we've also offering morning and afternoon batches for the students to select. Currently, it's with Indian time zone, but very soon we're also looking at launching something with in the time zone of Eastern Coast in USA. So that will again give more choice and flexibility for the parents to register. You'll be very surprised, almost 50% of our students have opted for the afternoon batch because they find that to be more convenient compared to the morning batch of the schedule of classes. Now, with the learning outcomes, we've been particularly focused on three key areas. In terms of the curriculum and the content, the resources that's available to the students, that's one. Second is the pedagogy itself. How do we make classrooms online more engaging and also a happy classroom? That has been second. And the third aspect is around the assessment and home assignments that we provide so that the learning continues even after the regular school hours. So significantly, when it came to the curriculum and content, because we are digital first, I think we had access to some fantastic audio visual content, immersive content at many places. So our students get access to over 1 million books in form of a digital library. They get access to the virtual lab. They get access to the personalized learning platform, assessment engine, a whole lot of resources which the students can use even as a substitute for enrichment classes as well as for the remedial classes, which means that every child has to cross a particular learning threshold before he moves on to the next unit. Now, this is a game changer because now the term report cards at the end of the each term is meaningless because we are evaluating and valuing students' academic progress practically on a day-to-day basis. So I know if my child is struggling in unit 1, I want him to address those concerns right at that unit before he starts learning on a chapter or unit that's built over the concepts of unit 1. So if we fill this gap, I think the learning outcomes significantly improve. And we have been able to do this because we use a lot of data-driven instruction to improve the learning outcomes. Now, when we looked at pedagogy, we knew that the classroom size has to be much smaller in India than a textbook-driven approach to make sure that the learning is centered around the 21st century skills, as well as it's also more current in terms of what is happening around the child, rather than looking just as a textbook-driven approach. The home assignments has been fantastic. 21K school follows the flipped learning approach, so the home assignments become super critical. The students have been doing a lot of assignments, which ranges from 30 minutes to 90 minutes, depends on the grade. But these assignments are not just about copying certain notes or writing certain concepts in the workbooks. It's far more engaging part of the learning activity and the project-based learning that we do. It's also fun. It's also a time where they can collaborate with other students or parents or other adults at home. So it's been a fantastic experience overall to see how we can blend technology to improve the overall learning outcomes for the students.
Fascinating. And Santosh, do you want to add anything about the technological advancements and what you're doing and what's interesting and exciting? I mean, in areas such as science, for example, there must be exciting ways to make lessons come alive when the children aren't actually in a science lab. Or give us some examples.
So when you go online, many people, they just feel that you don't have that personal connect. That's why we decided to design the complete school in a way the personal connect between the student to students and the student to teacher remains. The way the learning has changed in last 2 decades, more of an experiential learning has come in. The more of a visual learning as concept has come in with the kids. So if you teach, we used to learn atoms through just words or pictures. But today's kids, they want to visualize in 3D how atoms look like, even touch and see how proton or electron is. So that's possible when technology comes in. So as on today, we are having a VR lab and AR, but basically an AR lab completely digital, and which gives you that experiential way of interacting with atoms, interacting with lab and all. At the same time, now we are also developing a VR based classes. Like going forward within a year, our kids will be able to experience science, history, or just imagine you will be sitting in front of Shakespeare and Shakespeare is explaining you his lessons or stuff. This is possible through a virtual world, and that's a kind of experience we want to give to our kids going forward. So last, it could have not have been possible even 5 years before. With the advent of technology, the way internet is developing, the way hardwares are progressing. Now we are in a crossroads where education has to have a giant leap, because it's scientifically proven that kids learn more with this audio visual auditory things, and that has to be more of an experiential. Like, you should have a, say, human autonomy. When you're teachers, you can't replace a teacher, so teacher is very integral part of our equation. Whatever technology we build, that's used by the teacher to aid and improve the learning, or improve the speed of learning of a kid. And one thing which Yashwant also mentioned, grade on grade we used to pass on. Like, some used to get 60 percentile, some used to get 90 percentile, but nobody worked on why a kid has got 60 where the pending 40 has to be worked on. The kid used to get promoted to next class without somebody working on the weakness of the kid. That's something we are changing through technology, and it will actually keep on progress on the way we are going to bring in many aspects in terms of remedial classes, or supporting those kids. Though we give promotion, how do we do that? How do we make sure a kid is 100% educated before they go to the next level? Now, education is not only classes or not only learning. It's all about character building. School does that. It's all about moral values, what you teach to a kid, and these kind of things we want to give a holistic education to the kid. When we talk that we are a tech education, tech based education, we definitely want to teach education to the kid, irrespective of the stream a kid takes. We have taken it as a mandatory. We need to teach them coding, because 10 years down the line, even an accountant needs to know coding knowledge. 10, 15 years down the line, even if you are an artist, you need to have a basic level coding knowledge. So that is something we are implementing as a core of our education. So irrespective of the stream you choose, you will be learning coding with us. It's not a mandatory thing, but we want the kids to learn, because that's how the world is going to change 10 years down the line. That's how technology will be playing around in the learning ecosystem.
Future fit education for young people coming through your school. Wonderful. And it all sounds very personally driven, which will appeal to a lot of parents, I know. So, as well as that, what are the opportunities for social engagement inside and outside the schools? Perhaps less academic subjects, for example, just making friends and building relationships. Yash, do you want to comment on that?
Oh yeah, see, absolutely. Learning is a social experience, and absolutely, we believe that the school is one of the places where the students build the friendship and bonding as well. And in fact, there's a lot of myth in terms of understanding is that because it's an online school, you can't build friends. Santosh's daughter and my son, they also study with the 21K school. They're into the third year. And I'll tell you, I mean, today he has friends in different countries. He has friends in Russia, Dubai, Oman, Indonesia, Singapore, and in the socio-economic or the cultural aspect of India, where he stays or lives. But he's now developing a global mindset. He's able to appreciate the different nuances of thoughts and ideas that comes from his friends because of their own upbringing in a different cultural context. Now, that's, I think, is significant. Beyond what is informally developing into a social network for students, at the school level, we do, ask the students to collaborate actively. Just like schools, we also celebrate different festivals and important days throughout the year. We have a school council with a proper leadership team from the senior grades and the prefectorial council at the grade level as well. They plan. In fact, the podcast which you had earlier mentioned was an outcome of that student-led initiative as well. I've also, seen students working together on esports, and there are different Facebook groups created by students to collaborate after the school hours as well. And on our own, I think with the COVID easing out, we have also started taking students to trips and excursions. They have traveled across many cities in the last summer in India. and quite excited about the response from the students and parents. We want to conduct the trips at a global level. So, for example, we have a large number of students coming in from Southeast Asia and Middle East and Africa, and we'll definitely be also hosting these parent meetups, student meetups, exchange programs, and I think the possibilities are immense, and we'd want to tap on everything that's possible for students' social emotional learning.
And I also found something rather intriguing on the website, a reference to boarding. What did you mean by that? You don't mean physical boarding. I think you mean biting into extra exciting things to do. Is that what the concept is?
Correct. I know it's a misnomer because anyway the students are at home, so there's no real boarding. But as I said earlier, we wanted to use the terms which are more familiar and to the parents. So day boarding as a concept in the K-12 space is like when the students spend some extra time in the regular school. So right now the students spend 3 hours at primary and 4 hours in the middle school and above. But some of the parents are interested to dive deeper and spend more time in terms of grasping certain skills which are critical for students, and that's where we introduce the concept of day boarding. Besides the day school where the core subjects and curriculum is transacted, we allow students to engage with us on a different platform, day boarding, which is cross curricular, nothing to do with the curriculum itself. But they learn critical skills like leadership skills, language skills, mindfulness, communication skills, etiquettes, and similar skills, which are absolutely critical for students. In fact, we have tied up with the Institute of Habits of Mind in USA to speak and about the 16 habits of mind, which is established by research, and there's a lot of work happening around that. To say that how the 16 years of education, if a student focuses on developing these 16 habits of mind, he will be absolutely relevant and in terms of the skills required, irrespective of whatever changes happen in the professional world or the technology and other things. If he can inculcate the 16 habits of mind, he will be ready both in a personal capacity as well as professional capacity. So that's the day boarding program.
And I suppose that's exactly the sort of experience some universities and higher education establishments are looking for as a point of difference for young people. So is that a good opportunity to ask where are your students going to once they've finished at the school? Because most of them finish about age of 17. Is that all the schools go up to 17, 18 years of age?
17, 18 years. In fact, Santosh has been very passionately working on this, creating career pathways for students. Santosh, should you want to take this?
So what we are creating is by the age when you're nearing 9th and 11th one, right? Many of them, the parents, they want to actually send their kids to top universities like Cambridge, Oxford, Ivy League in US. So we are coaching the kids from ninth grade. What happens is when you're preparing a CV or when you're preparing a statement of purpose for universities don't even don't look at it only marks. Apart from India, anybody Cambridge or Ivy League college, they see apart from academic, we actually have a lot of programs for that. For example, we have volunteering program as part of the Career Connect program. We actually take them for educational tours to these universities. For example, somebody has chosen Cambridge, we will take them for an education tour in the grade 11, and we'll show that how university looks like and all those kind of thing, and everything is packaged as part of the school. So this school is now evolving into an ecosystem. So a parent who is coming inside our school, they don't need any external counselors. They don't need to be dependent on Google for all their career choices for the kids. They don't need to depend on anybody else. We are a one-stop solution for that. Now it's evolving into a complete ecosystem over a period of time, and parents, teachers, and the students together are creating this community and this ecosystem. So this is what we are building as part of career readiness program. And not only that, we see a lot of students when they come to 9th and 11th roles, right? They lack basic when they enter into a college or after 12th, if they want to go to a job market, they lack some of the basic things, which is like career ready path. So this career ready path also, we are developing some skill development programs wherein we teach them, leadership, we teach them financial literacy, we teach them, Web3 skills, or the computational or AI skills. So this is also part of the courses which we have as part of our school as an inbuilt, and these are like electives which students can choose and study. So we anybody going out of Indian K school, right? We want to give that holistic education experience. It should not be there like in India. 99% of the students going to a traditional school, they take up some tuitions or some coaching. And as per survey, 99% of 21K school students don't take up any coaching or any other activities, because we as a school provide everything. And I think that's the success part of us, and we will be keep evolving and growing as per parents' requirement and students' requirements.
Thank you very much. So if we can just focus a little bit on the flexibility that mobile families need and their corporate employers. So what can you offer at 21K to accommodate parents and employers wanting children to join at, say, different times and throughout the year? How does that work?
So what happens is we are now planning 4 cohorts per year. One will be a Jan cohort, then April, then June and September cohort. So what happens? Students can take up admissions in these 4 cohorts as going forward, and they can also take up in multiple time zones. Right now we offer in APAC and Asian time zones, but we are also coming up with 4 to 5 time zones. So across 24 hours a day, the classes will be going on according to the time zone. If you are in North America or South America, your time zone, there will be a class or there will be a schedule running in. So as we grow, we have that flexibility being an online school to offer in multiple time zones and multiple months, or the different type of cohorts which we will be matching. For example, if you say Middle East, the school starts in September. In India, the school starts in April. If you go somewhere else, the schools they have an option to start in Jan also. So every time zone, every country. So over a period of next 5 years, we want to be present in close to 170 countries and teaching in all time zones possible, to give them the flexibility for the parents and students. So we will be a one-stop solution for anybody who wants to have quality and high world-class education for their kids without compromising on the quality. We are very obsessed about quality because this is a school we are designing for our kids, and when that's a kind of a personal touch available, we will never compromise on that.
Great, thank you. So I think just to close, before I ask you about your plans for the future, perhaps Yash, you could just run through the different curriculums that are on offer through the 3 schools, just to summarize for parents and employers listening.
So we offer 3 different curriculum programs for students right from early years to grade 12. The British curriculum, under the British curriculum, we have affiliation on the curriculum offered by both Cambridge as well as Pearson edXL. We offer right from early years, primary, lower secondary, IGCSE, O levels, and A levels, both under the Cambridge and edXL. The American curriculum is offered through our partners K-12 in USA, where the high school diploma is awarded by the Keystone School from USA. Again, that's a very interesting program because they also give us an opportunity to transfer credits, and for students who are interested, they can also take a dual diploma program. So it's very much possible that a student who's pursuing a national curriculum in his or her country can also, with just by studying 5 credits, can get a dual diploma from the American program. Makes absolutely mandatory. Countries have also choosing Indian curriculum over and above some of the international programs because it's very fantastic program which builds the basic concepts in science and maths, especially right from the primary years. And we all know that how much the science and maths are critical for success today. So we also quite confident that the Indian program would be accepted widely, not just by Indians living abroad, but also with foreign nationals, and they see value the way they would see the Cambridge program. IBO has also initiated a pilot project in the DP program, and as and when the norms opens up, we're confident that we should be able to offer the IB diploma program in the near future.
Brilliant. So that leads me on nicely to how are you continuing to evolve 21K School and what your plans are for the future?
So 21K School is an ecosystem, as I told you, and it's evolving as per the needs of the students and the parents and the society. So we foresee our end goal. Everybody asks me what is your end game. So we want to create an impact in 1.4 billion school going students in the world. By a short-term goal, we want to be having 1 million kids in the next 5 years from 170 countries. But yeah, we are evolving into a completely one-stop school going solution. So any K-12 category from kindergarten to 12th, if parents need something for their kids as far as education is concerned, or any kind of consultation for mental health of the kids is concerned, or growth of the kids, career readiness is concerned, we want to be a one-stop solution for that. We want to make it very affordable for the parents, because we have seen in India, especially in also in Middle East, where parents are spending hefty amount of dollars for their kids' education. We wanted to bring it down subsequently, or significantly, so that parents can save it for their higher education, because that matters a lot for job readiness of the kids. So that's our end goal, and we will always strive towards giving quality education at an affordable price for each and every parent across the world. And as per one thing which actually prompts us a lot, there is a stats from UN stating that 64% of the kids, I may be wrong with the percentage, but 64% of the kids, they lack basic literacy level. That's something we want to change, and that's possible through technology. That's possible through internet, the way Starlink and OneWeb is developing. I don't think there will be a problem in getting quality teachers to remotest part of the world, but it's only the system which has to evolve. And we are very well poised to educate each and every kid across the world. And yes, that's our end goal. If we are able to create an impact on 1.4 billion school going kids, that's where I think we'll be satisfied. Till then, we will run towards that goal.
Well, great ambitions indeed. Yash, do you want to add to anything?
Yeah, absolutely. I think I want to highlight on a particular initiative that we have embarked upon, which is the future of education. We are using at some of the emerging technologies in terms of the metaverse, blockchain, and NFTs. We've already started in terms of using some of these, aspects in our regular course curriculum, trying to gamify the entire education experience so that learning becomes addictive for students as much as some of the games are. But I mean, we want to replicate this as a learning model as well. So there's a very particular initiative that we're talking is about, the students can earn and also pay for their own fees. So we're setting up an NFT store where the students' artwork and some of the projects can be up and available for sale, and whatever they earn can be converted into scholarships to the 21K coins. Metaverse is going to transform learning experience world over in the years to come, and we want to be pioneers in that field. So we've also started developing curriculum to teach concepts around blockchain, artificial intelligence, and metaverse for the students. We'll be announcing a major initiative again in a couple of months time. But I think using technology and blending it right with the live classes with full-time teachers is going to be the way forward. And I don't see any reason why, irrespective of the geographical location of the child or the social and economic circumstances of a student, I think, as Santosh said, it is very important that every student, every child gets access to high quality education, be a part of all the emerging new technology, and be the part of a global future that we all want to create.
Brilliant. Well, very aspirational. Thank you very much both for your time and a fascinating conversation about 21K School and a borderless education. Thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you so much, Fiona.
Thank you. So we've been speaking today to Santosh Kumar and Yashwant Raj Parasmal, co-founders of 21K School. And here are details of 21K School and how you can get in contact with them about admissions or general inquiries. I'm Fiona Murchie, Managing Editor of Relocate Global, and we have been delighted to bring this webinar to you as part of our education series. Do join us later in the year for our autumn and spring International Education and Schools Fair, and participate in activities throughout the year through our global communities that offer digital magazine and resources and online editorial throughout the year. Thank you for joining us.